All right, I think we're now live. Yeah, we are live. What is going on, my pretty babies? You are checking out an all new the RCWR show coming at you guys live right now for Tuesday night, February 27th, 2017. Want to give a shout out to those of you that's checking this out as I'm live right now for the next little bit on Spreaker and on YouTube. Hey, we also got to make sure we show some love to the audience over on Facebook. Yes, let's sync them in here as well, as we want to make sure we show them some love. We're syncing up our Facebook audience right now. All right, welcome to our Facebook audience, as well as you are checking out an all new RCWR show covering the latest in wrestling, entertainment, and beyond since 2011. We're a couple of minutes removed from an all new SmackDown. Can we all be in agreement? There was a couple of that was good. But if you're looking at the whole on the road to WrestleMania, you're kind of going, that really wasn't anything special. Can we maybe fast forward a couple of weeks? Because I don't know about you guys, but 6 weeks to go until WrestleMania. Yeah, we really need to get things popping. It really needs to get sizzling. And I'm just not really feeling that much of a conscious effort by SmackDown. At least the team, the booking behind SmackDown, I'm just not getting that vibe. Raw, it just, as I would expect, honestly, which is there's a couple of key things here and there from Raw that make you go, okay, I kind of want to see how this is going to play out. We'll dive into all that, man. You know how we do it here on the show. Love hearing from you guys, as I'm going to be live for the next little bit. Get at me a couple of ways. We got a couple of chats that's open. Man, I mean, we're all over the place. And you know, the RCWR show has its own app. Can you believe that? Yes, it's free. You can download it. It's in the Google Play Store. Best part I love about that app is every single time the show goes live, you like instantly will be synced in. You get notifications. There's a built-in chat, all that. I personally manage that app. I make sure any kinks or whatever, everything is smoothed out. So check it out. It's really awesome. And I know that we had a couple of people that actually were saying, oh man, I love the app. It's really cool. That's great that you like the app. And if you really love it, make sure you give it a rating and review. And also talk about the content, most importantly, that's covered from what you're checking out. You know, let folks know why they need to tune in, man. So we got a decent amount of people already in the chat I see here on YouTube. And shout out to everybody that's showing up so far. Loving this so far. Loving. Love you guys, man. Love you guys. Hey, you know, I have to begin the show on a serious note, and I want to push this out in the front right now, and then we can have nothing but good times. We can have nothing but some good old fun like we normally do it here every single Tuesday night for you guys. But I got to keep it real, and I got to be serious for a moment. Now, this is not, I repeat, this is not Lee Sanders, the entertainer, Lee Sanders, the sometimes journalist, the broadcaster, the podcaster, the radio host. I'm not talking as Lee Sanders, the entertainer right now. As a matter of fact, I will have you know that once I'm done doing the shows, I am what you get of me live every single week. It's like a 180 almost. Now, to a certain degree, if you get me talking about wrestling, and I really, really mess with you like that, 9 times out of 10, I'm probably a little bit of what you see and hear every single week. You're going to actually get that out of me in person. But once I'm done doing these shows, I pretty much go on back, and to the point, I don't even go by Lee Sanders in my personal life. I don't, believe it or not. I actually don't go by that. And I really value, I cherish, and I appreciate my privacy. And I'm saying that for a reason. Now, I'm not going to give all the specifics as far as names, things of that nature, but here's what went down. So Off and on for the past couple of months now, several months now, I have been dealing with an individual that at one point, as far as I know, and I'm kind of led to the impression still is a fan of the show. And that's fine. You know me, guys. I always tell you all, what do I say to you guys? If you love what I do for you guys, follow me on social media. And what do I always plug as far as social media goes? I plug the Twitter, I plug the Facebook, I plug the YouTube, I plug the Instagram. None of those have a personal, Lee Sanders or whatever. It's always the RCWR show. So we had this. Honestly, he's been coming off as a very, very sick individual, a mentally disturbed individual that really needs a lot of help. One of the main things that seems to be a mental trigger point for him is when he finds out that some of his favorite podcasters has been blocked by celebrities. Now, everybody recalls a couple of weeks ago, I talked about the whole ordeal that went down with Titus O'Neil. And you can rewind, check that out. But I pretty much went the higher route. I said, hey, Titus, don't take it personal, man. It's just constructive criticism that I offer. It's never anything personal. And basically the message I had to you guys was, in a nutshell, hey, you might want to check your Twitter status, hell, maybe even your other social media platform statuses to see if potentially Titus O'Neil may have blocked you, because he's just, boom, blocking people left and right. And some had speculated that one of the main reasons why that Titus O'Neil was blocking folks on Twitter was if they had brought up the whole ladies first gif, or they were talking about, everybody remembers the infamous incident in question. It ultimately led to Titus O'Neil being suspended from the WWE for a couple of weeks, right? That's the speculation that's being put out there. To my knowledge, no official word from Titus himself on why he's conducting himself the way he's conducting himself, but it is what it is. And once this individual finds out that whatever podcaster they've been listening to has been blocked by a celebrity, he just, in the timeline, it's really scary. It seems like every couple of minutes, on the hour, every hour, he is always tweeting, trying to get in contact, trying to get the attention of that celebrity. And some would say, okay, that's not really, well, when you see the series of the timelines, and most importantly, you see the series of videos that this person puts out on YouTube, it almost reminds you of the shit, piss, milk guy that had that whole craziness that was coming about him at NXT, and he was infatuated with Lita. Anybody remember that guy? The shit, piss, milk guy. That's how we all had dubbed him. He almost reminds you of this individual. Now, this individual, I'm not sure how, but this individual went out of his way to send a private message to my fiance, who, yes, once in a blue moon, she does serve as a co-host. Nowadays, the way that she's doing it, she's saying, hey, look, I'd be more than happy to help you out, but let's really do it where it counts the most. And she's honestly helping me out with a lot of the Patreon stuff exclusive to the members. So anytime it comes to 30 with Lee, anytime it comes to a bonus episode of the RCWR show, and then a new series we're still trying to iron out the kinks for, 9 times out of 10, all of that stuff that I just mentioned, which is exclusive to Patreon only, she's helping me out with that. So for those of you that's kind of going, hey, haven't heard from your lady in a while, when is she going to grace us with another cameo? She's just strictly Patreon content. That's it. But this individual went out of his way to send my fiance a private message, basically saying, oh, that's really messed up that Titus O'Neil had blocked your husband, soon to be husband, but okay, whatever. You should have me, tell him he needs to have me on his show. Now, I will have my fiance, she lives the life of, I dare say, a good Christian, almost Mormon to a certain degree. And a lot of my bad ways, she'll tell you, when we first got together, I was a bad boy. And she's really mellowed me out a lot, really made me see things from completely different perspectives. Always pushing me to think outside the box. And she's honestly my better half. She's the best part of me. I honestly would have to say, and I literally had told her this the other day, just in conversation. She is the biggest, the better part of me. She's what's best about me as a person, as an individual. And the life that she lives, it's pretty quiet. It's really, honestly, some would look at it as a very bland, uh, very boring type of life, because she works very hard in the respective field that she's in. When she's not working, all she cares about is spending time with friends, family, significant other. And she's not really, even though she grew up on wrestling, she's not like you and me, guys. She's not watching it every single week. She's not a gamer like we are, although she grew up playing the hits. She is living a completely, it's a 180. It is a 180. And her friends and her family, none of them know and talk anything about wrestling, none of that. I draw the line when you go out of your way and you purposely make it be your business to not only figure out who I'm connected to, but you go out of your way to try to establish contact with that person. That's a no-no. Respect the boundaries. Unless you hear from me or unless you hear from Tammy that, okay, you guys can send us a private message on here. It's okay. Unless we give you the green light, please, I implore you guys, please do not break that trust. And I have been telling people over the years, there is a particular reason why I don't really open up the way I'd like to try and open up to you, the listeners, to you, the fan base that are doing it right. It's because we have individuals like this person that I had just described that honestly really makes it bad for everybody. And now I kind of see why some of my colleagues, they don't accept personal friend requests on social media, because when things don't go a certain listener's way, they'll be so inclined to use images or whatever and say a lot of mean, hurtful things. And I'm sorry, the last thing I want to do is be friends with somebody that is so ignorant in the fashion of trying to tell me who in the blue fuck I need to be dating, that I need to be showing black women more of a priority. Have I forgotten my people? No, I have fucking not forgotten about my people. That is the most ignorant thing that you can say to a person. You have no idea my struggles. You have no idea what the hell I have gone through. So many people want to say, oh, well, if you get yourself a good black woman, if a black man should stay with a black, that is the most ignorant, stupidest goddamn thing I've ever heard of in my entire life. And I apologize to those of you that's really feeling uncomfortable going through this right now, but I believe in being one and done. See, here's the thing. This listener made it personal when he did what he did. So guess what, boys and girls? Everybody is getting the end of the stick right now, because I want to make sure we nip this in the ass. Excuse the profanity, but when I'm worked up and I'm passionate about something, I'm having it all out there. That is the most ignorant thing I've ever heard of my life. Call me old-fashioned, but the way I was brought up is, you want a person, it doesn't matter what their race is. It doesn't matter what their religion is. It doesn't matter what their beliefs are. You want somebody that is going to have your back for better or for worse. That's going to be with you through the good times. That's going to be with you through the bad times. Those traits know no racial background. That transcends all. Mike Cutter, if that's his name, the guy that plays Luke Cage, he recently had made the headlines because it was revealed that his wife, my God, he knew this girl almost when they were high school sweethearts or when he was making his way to his freshman year in college. White woman that he ended up being friends with, nice gradual process, ended up being married to her. Once everybody found out that Mike was married to a white woman, you had this same type of ignorant dialogue that was being put out there. People saying, well, why isn't he sticking to his own kind? What the hell? Did he forget about his own people? And I'll never forget the infamous interview that he had gave on a radio show with regards to this. He basically said, you know, man, it's not about race. So many people, they misconstrued this. It's like, hey, I've dated black women. I've dated Hispanic women. I've dated Asian women. Didn't matter to me what their race was. It didn't matter to me what their size was. I cared about the principle of their character. That's what I care about the most. And I tell you what, I don't regret for one moment the woman that I ended up marrying, because she was with me way before I even became an actor. She was with me when I was struggling. And that's the real testament of having a significant other. Again, that race knows no boundaries. When that person is with you through thick and thin. Boys and girls, have you ever, longtime listeners, have you ever, really stop and think about it, have you ever heard me put down my own people? Have you ever heard me put down, in particular, black women? I love my sister, pretend sister Ebony, to death. She's black. Her husband is black. I've dated multiple black women. Multiple. I've dated Hispanic women. I've dated Asian women. I knew of no color. And the fact that in 2018 we have ignorance like this running around, my friend, it is because of people like you that are making this world the shit fest that it is right now. Ignorance like that. I'm one and done. I've spent enough time on this topic, but respect the privacy. Unless I say to you guys, or unless you hear it from whoever is going to be coming on this show. It could be Tammy. It could be my pretend sister. It could be her husband. Unless we tell you, hey, you can give us a follow on here, check us out on here, respect the privacy. Now, for you guys that may be a little bit curious, this guy actually lives right out here in the DMV area. And I've already submitted all the documentation, screenshots, everything that's been coming about so far. And he's only a couple of counties away. So it's piling on. And I tell you what, if this guy keeps it up, I'm going to do what I need to do. But I had to get that out there because that's been lingering on my mind all freaking week, man. Ridiculous, just ridiculous. All right, let's continue on. Now that I've got that out of the way, let's have nothing but good times. Let's really talk about some fun stuff. All right. So on that note, we got to talk about this pay-per-view that we had got from over the weekend, right? We had got Elimination Chamber. Now, as far as my afterthoughts go, I still feel that the pay-per-view was itself a 7 out of 10. And somebody correct me if my rating is wrong, you know, but me, I personally, if I remember it, because we're talking now almost 48 hours ago, I basically said, hey, Elimination Chamber, yeah, it gets a pass from me. And I said, I don't really want to do the number scale anymore. But if I had to do a number scale, like a 7 out of 10. And I am with so many of you guys that honestly, and it's amazing because there were so many of you that I was interacting with all throughout social media during Elimination Chamber. And the consensus was, this is a pretty good event so far. You know, especially, I'll tell you what was the main consensus. A lot of people thought they were going to see some type of a half-assed, lackluster tag match between The Bar taking on Apollo Crews and Titus O'Neil. But when they saw the type of match that they got afterwards, it was, I didn't think the match was going to be, I'd love to actually see. There were a lot of people. Hey, that was actually a really good tag match. Wouldn't mind seeing these guys lock it up again. I think we all can be in agreement, though, as far as what had went down on Monday Night Raw, and we saw Titus, Apollo losing that 2 out of 3 falls match. That was pretty, what the hell, right? But Everybody really felt that the Elimination Chamber was overall a pretty solid event until you got to the situation that occurred with who came out on top, punching in their ticket, going into WrestleMania. It would be none other than one Roman Reigns. And that had made so many people feel a little bit divided. Now, if you really break it down, all the people that say, oh, Elimination Chamber, it sucked. Oh, this was the worst pay-per-view. I bet you if you put in explain why the pay-per-view was bad, a lot of people are going to be saying the same thing, which is because Braun Strowman did not win. As it stands here tonight, I have yet to have somebody say to me, Elimination Chamber sucked because of these circumstances. Somebody that just goes outside of the talk of Braun Strowman not winning. I've yet to see somebody definitively say, and back up, not necessarily with facts, but just, hey, for me, and it's so funny because we all can come together and explain why we didn't like this particular movie. We can all come together and say, oh, well, I didn't particularly care for that episode of Law and Order or The Walking Dead. And we can name the reasons why. But it's funny because when it comes to the talk of wrestling, doesn't matter what the promotion is. If something sucks, very rare will you see who is ultimately the main consumer in the wrestling fan go, okay, this sucked because and it should be improved by that. To the point, polled you guys on Twitter and on YouTube. And as it stands right now, and if you still want to continue to chime your thoughts, you're more than welcome to. We asked you all, how would you rate the Elimination Chamber? We asked you guys this fresh after the event had went off the air. And as it stands right now, tonight, for February 27th, we have over 56 votes on YouTube. We have 25% of you that are giving Elimination Chamber a thumbs up. 32% of you are staying in the middle, taking the lead. 43% of you are giving it a thumbs down. Now, for those of you that may be a little bit curious, well, how exactly is it doing on Twitter? I'm glad you asked. And last I saw, we had at least over 250 votes on Twitter. So let me pull up Twitter here. I really didn't put out that many tweets today. I did that on purpose so I could easily go on back and find the polling results quickly. And I see the Raw one. We don't want the Raw one. I'm going to have it in a few seconds, guys. Bear with me here. What was that? That was on the 26th, right? Yeah, that was on the 20. No, not 26. That was on the 24th. Let's see. Where are we? I think I almost got it, guys. Hang on. Bear with me, guys. I'm getting there. See, I really should have had this loaded up before, but it's all good. I want to say it was over 250 votes. And I want to say the consensus, everybody. Here we go, guys. All right. So now as it stands, and I'm actually glad that I killed a little bit more time to look for it. All right. So we're now over 300 votes. And as it stands right now, 13% gave the Elimination Chamber a thumbs up. 19% are staying in the middle, and a overwhelming 68% have given Elimination Chamber a thumbs down. So that's where we stand right now. And I guarantee you, if you put in that bracket for the thumbs down and were to put in there, please explain, a lot of people would probably say Braun should have won, or anyone but Roman should have won. So let's deal with where it stands right now, because I really didn't get a chance to really dive into this on the Elimination Chamber after show, which was a great after show. I appreciate those of you that went out of your way to check it out, by the way. But let's really break this down. Okay, so Roman Reigns, he wins. Now, if you're looking at just a straight up Roman Reigns, Brock Lesnar match that's going to be going down at this year's WrestleMania, you're saying to yourself, oh man, I can't believe I'm getting this again. What the hell? I'm not really invested in this. I don't really particularly care for this. We saw this a couple of years ago. Why are we seeing this one again? Why are we seeing this again? We've already seen this. This isn't what we want. That's the consensus of a majority of the fans. Some would say maybe a minority of fans. It just depends on who you talk to, quite honestly. Where do I stand with regards to seeing Roman Reigns and Brock Lesnar at WrestleMania? Do I personally like it? And I really need to make sure I stress this because I have been very consistent about this. I don't like the fact that Roman Reigns is going to be as it stands, I don't like the fact that Roman Reigns is going to be taking on Brock Lesnar for the title at WrestleMania. My reasons why I am not liking this direction right now. I personally feel that with everything Braun Strowman has been doing since he's been put on the main roster, this goes far back than the Wyatt family. This pretty much goes all the way back to when we first were introduced to Braun Strowman. A lot of people forget Braun Strowman started off as Adam Rose's Rosebuds. He was one of the Rosebuds. He then eventually moved on and he ended up being in a position where, okay, he's with the Wyatt family. And we all could be in agreement. When we first saw Braun Strowman, we said, wow, who the hell is that guy? That guy looks pretty interesting. He looks pretty menacing. That looks like a guy I need to be keeping my eyes on because he looks like he might be going places. Eventually, we would see a situation go down where Braun would break away, had that singles run, was taking on all of those jobbers, those created wrestlers, right? He's taking all those individuals on, making a name for himself and just slowly moving up the ladder. It was a great pace. We all can be in agreement of that, right? And you fast forward to now. Braun has been riding a great wave right now. It's a great wave he's been riding. And I think he can do no wrong but continue to ride that and become more and more and more popular. I had a really nice friendly debate with somebody over at the Epic Sports Community channel about this. And I want to read to you what they had said. And I want to knock out, you know, the old saying is, two birds, one stone. Well, in this case, I'm going to try for 3 with 1 stone, right? So this is very important. This is very important because I want y'all to stay with me now. I want y'all to stay with me because I couldn't wait to talk about this in particular when I had first did this back and forth with this one individual. So we have this guy. I'm not going to put his name out there because you'd be surprised. Some people, they put their comment out there on YouTube and they, when they get not acknowledged by a show, although don't mention my name. So, we'll let that be up to him. But you can see it on the Epic Sports channel. You can see it. All right. So we have this individual. He hears just a snippet. And let me put a disclaimer out there. Unless you're a longtime listener, you're not really going to get a good feel on, okay, I know exactly where Lee's mentality is right now. I know where he is right now with regards to, sadly, a 3-minute clip does not capture everything that I had said about Braun Strowman off and on these past several months, and definitely what I had said of Braun Strowman as early as the Elimination Chamber after show. A 3-minute clip does not put a nice, pretty ribbon around everything that I said. So, my advice to Epic, run this. I don't care how long the clip is, run it. So we have this individual that says, Lee, stop trying to convince fans that Braun Strowman wasn't buried. Now, this individual feels that Braun Strowman was buried. Based on what he saw last night, he feels that Braun Strowman was buried. And let's, for the benefit of doubt, let's extend it further. Let's just say, for the sake of the argument, he feels that time and time again, when it's been time to pull that trigger for Braun Strowman, it ain't happened. And in his estimation, Braun's getting buried. So he says, Lee, stop trying to convince fans that Braun Strowman wasn't buried. You know as well as everybody else does that Strowman should have won that match. Now, what's not really captured in this 3-minute clip is me saying as early as the Elimination Chamber after show, hey, can I be hopeful? Can I have a little bit of optimism? Because I personally would love to see Braun Strowman pick up the W. I would love to see him punch in his ticket, go to WrestleMania. He's been riding it out. He's become more and more popular. He's what everybody wants to see right now, right? I said that, especially giving this whole steroid stuff that is coming about with John Bravo, all this resurfacing. Does WWE really want to go through this? Other than having Roman Reigns be in a safe situation interview-wise, and he's promoting WrestleMania, you can feed him to the Sam Roberts. You can feed him to the Peter Rosenbergs. You really can't do a full blitz, a full media blitz with Roman Reigns, with this John Bravo dude in this documentary that he's conducting, right? That he's working on. You got to be you got to tread lightly. I kept all of those things in the equation, and I said, maybe just let me be hopeful. Yeah, Braun Strowman. But my heart was saying, no, they're going to go the course. They're going to go with Roman. So this is how this fan feels. My retort, and I'll man up to some of this. I said, gee, I'm sorry. I guess when at one point you were trying to be a wrestler, like I was many, many years ago, have friends in the business, so you understand why things go down a certain way. You see things differently. So because Braun Strowman isn't getting a ticket to WrestleMania for the title shot against Braun, he's being buried. Guy is featured on main WWE programming every single week, has decent merchandise selling, gets to see the world, experience different cultures, making good money, booked as a juggernaut, has a pretty good win-loss record, being given great segments on TV and pay-per-view, popular on social media, everyone gives him praise and loves him. All that mentioned, how the hell is he buried? And I went on to say, please, folks, let's stop using the terminology buried when it really does not apply. If you say, hey, he should have gotten the nod for Mania, then I'd agree 100% and leave it at that. Now, some people would look at that comment. It depends, because we've really got to understand what the whole wave of the society is right now with regards to open chat, with regards to open forum, the Reddits, all that, Twitter. That's the beautiful thing about all of these platforms of social media. It's basically a situation where no longer, as far as you trying to put yourself into somebody else's conversation, you don't have to feel awkward when it's live in person. You can just be kicking back from anywhere in the world. And if you see something that catches your eye, you read something that somebody says, you can automatically jump in there. And the biggest mistake that what I've learned all these years that I have been doing this show, and I've been doing this since 2011, if you ask me one of the biggest pieces of lessons I have learned, and I had talked about this just briefly to a colleague of mine on Twitter, I said, we're in this day and age now where we allow ourselves, myself included, but it's very, very rare. We allow ourselves to feed off of the first reaction that comes across our mind when we are reading something, be it in the form of an online chat, in a forum, in a post, etc. We allow ourselves to feel the first reaction, the first impulse. That's what we go off of. And sadly, we assume. And I've gotten to that point where, you know what? I would rather somebody ask than assume. To the point, we had this, not the same guy, but we had somebody that had followed up. They read what I had said, and they took a little bit of offense to what I had said. Now, on a good note, everything smoothed out. At the end, you can go and you can look at the comments yourself. But we had a guy that said, no, you're missing the whole point. I don't think he meant that Strowman was getting Kurt Hawkins style buried. But why have the guy repeatedly get the best of Brock Lesnar only to lose to him twice? Yes, he's being featured a lot. Yes, he's making a lot of money. Yes, he gets to see the world. But why isn't this guy the Universal Champion? In case you haven't noticed, nobody wants to see and see. Let's really stress that there are people that want to see Roman Reigns. There are people that want to see Roman Reigns and Brock Lesnar. So first, self-accountability. That is my message to a lot of you all that's out there that's going to be listening to this. Take self-accountability. Do not hide. And some of you, to your credit, you're not hiding behind, but I want you to really expand your horizons mentally more. Don't say nobody wants to see Roman Reigns and Brock Lesnar fight again. Don't say nobody wants to see Roman Reigns. Don't say nobody cares for Roman Reigns, because you do not represent the majority. I do not represent the majority. So first, take self-accountability. Say, I do not want to see Roman Reigns, Brock Lesnar fight again. That's all. Self-accountability. That's the first rule, right? So he says, fight again. Why isn't it Strowman facing Lesnar? No one wants to see Roman. Again, self-accountability. Just because you come across 5, 10 people that may agree with you, just because you may go out of your way in an open forum, whatever, and you find that there are anywhere from 5 to maybe 30 people that agree with you. Always remember, folks, here's a good analogy. You know how you can have one report that says, eating pizza, cheeseburgers, and French fries is bad for your health because it increases cholesterol. You have higher risk of cholesterol, clogged arteries, heart disease, etc. It's linked to cancer. And for every single compilation of data that I'm able to present to you guys to back up why it's bad for you, if I take that same amount of time to get that research and put it together for you, I can also go out of my way and get information, show you statistics that will say eating cheeseburgers, eating French fries, eating pizza is actually good for you from these standpoints. Even though some would say, nah, Lee, that's kind of a crock of, but you get the point that I'm making. You can always, to back up your claims, you can always find, well, look, no, this is good because, or no, this is bad because. So you always got to remember that. Yeah, it's real easy to go anywhere and, oh yeah, hey, this person agrees with what I'm saying. See, that's what the majority of the folks are saying. That's the majority of what the folks are saying. Okay? It's easy to find that. But on the flip side to that, you could do the opposite. So you kind of have to tread lightly, quite honestly. You really have to. You really have to. So this pretty much wraps up with this individual saying, no one wants to see Roman. Brock is past his prime, and Braun is in his prime and needs the title. What's the point of being booked like a juggernaut if a spear can take you out for a 3 count? Now, let's back up a second. Again, a 3-minute clip on Epic Sports does not capture everything that happened to Braun Strowman, in particular, in this matchup at Elimination Chamber. Somebody correct me if I'm wrong. Maybe, I am getting up there in age. Maybe I forgot something. And if I am sounding a little bit, what's the word that was used? Sarcastic, defensive? No, it's just point, counterpoint. If I'm upset about something, God, I'm a grown ass man. I'll just, hey, I'm upset. All right. Kick rocks. No, it's point, counterpoint. Okay. So somebody correct me if I'm wrong. At one point, we saw the 5 participants or 6 participants beat the holy crap out of Braun Strowman. And he just freaking, he was taking them hits. I mean, that joint came off like Vincent D'Onofrio and Full Metal Jacket when he had that jelly donut and everybody had to freaking suffer as a result of that because he snuck that jelly donut into the bunkers or whatever, and they all suffered. They got him good. Remember, guys, they got him good when he was sleeping. They beat the crap out of him with, what was it? They put bars of soap, wrapped it in a towel. Two guys had him pinned down to the bed, and they beat the crap out of him, right? That was pretty much what we had saw of Braun Strowman at one point. He's getting a beat down like that. Few seconds, probably lasted about maybe, I say close to a minute, and then we see this guy just hawk out of it. Then we see all of these individuals do their finishers on this guy. Signature moves and finishers. And none of that. Oh, nope, that's it for Braun. So this guy went through a lot of crap. It didn't just go, he's booked as a juggernaut and then, one spear. No, there was, okay, so again, self-accountability, but if we're going to talk about the way a match was booked, let's not leave anything out. There was a lot of crap that went down leading into Brock Lesnar, leading into Braun Strowman, ultimately doing the deed for Roman Reigns. Let's really call it for what it was worth. This was about making Roman look strong and dominating going into WrestleMania season. That's what this was basically about. Do I like it? For the record, hell to the no. I don't like it, but I get it. And for those of you that don't get it, I'm going to connect the dots for you one more time. And I don't mind connecting these dots because it helps you all, it helps us all think more on the horizon, right? Not just be so narrow-minded. And I don't mean narrow-minded in a stupid way. I just kind of mean sometimes we think one-dimensionally on certain things, and then something comes along and we go, well, I didn't consider that. All right, so this is why I'm spending this time talking about this right now. And the last thing this individual had said, stop being so defensive and sarcastic. Not being defensive, not being sarcastic. When somebody sees a different viewpoint than you host a podcast. That's very unprofessional. Newsflash. All podcasters, all radio show hosts, all broadcasters have a bit of an ego, myself included. Can we be a little bit conceited? Yes. Can we be sarcastic? Yes. It comes with the territory. Defensive? No. If I feel I'm being defensive towards something, if I feel that I'm being a dick, I man up. I say, look, fuck that. I'm going out there. Okay. And this is what I mean, folks. The day and age that we live in right now, when you have this type of dialogue, and again, me and this guy, we ended up being good. I pretty much told him, I'll read to you what I had said to him. I said, I'm not being offensive. We all, as a society, fall victim to going off of the first reaction we come across when reading something. We all assume. Very seldom I fall victim to this. He, the original poster, posed a valid point, and I offered my counterpoint. I'm not sure how much in this clip was tackled, as I've already said it repeatedly on the show and for months now. With a guy like Braun, that's great on TV if he's doing everything I mentioned, which is basically connecting with the crowd, right? The personality. He ain't got to worry about the matches. The matches are decent. The matches are good. All right. What we are seeing now that has blossomed as of late, and everybody would be in agreement, a Braun Strowman personality, a personality that you can latch on to and you can say, wow, that's entertaining as hell. Oh man, that's funny. Or, oh, I didn't think he had that side to him. And it's making us like the guy even more. And he's working on that. Another thing that he just started, him and the team of the WWE started working on that came rather late, is merchandise for the guy. I think, again, of these points that I'm bringing up, we all can be in agreement, right? No one should beg to differ. Now, said repeatedly, Braun great, everything in TV that I mentioned. Guess what, though? It doesn't if you, me, and everyone else likes Braun or whoever else is the flavor of the month? Are they selling tickets at the gate? Are they selling tons of merchandise? How's those pay-per-view buys looking with them in the main event spots? How are they looking on those segment ratings and viewership reports? At the end of the day, it is a business. And in the case of WWE, they have to follow the money. Like him or not, Roman Reigns is still a mega draw for the company, and WWE has always had this course planned. Don't believe me, there was an interview that Stephanie McMahon had made, and I wish it would make its rounds this rodeo. There was an interview that Stephanie McMahon had gave several months back, and somehow the talk of WrestleMania had came up. And when the talk of WrestleMania had came up, Stephanie had gave a little bit of a bird's eye view as far as certain matchups, certain ideas, certain story arcs that are being worked upon. And with regards to WrestleMania, Stephanie said that a lot of what plays out at WrestleMania with certain key matchups has already been talked about. It's already been discussed. It's already been planned in almost a year in the making. And I remember I was talking to a buddy of mine about this the other day, and he made up a very valid point, which is it's kind of good that interview isn't really resurfacing right now, because if that interview was really resurfacing like that, then it would make the consumer wonder if their voice is truly being heard, if it's truly being recognized, as they are the ultimate consumer, and as far as what they want to see on these programs that they watch weekly. They're the ones that's going in there buying the product, right? They're the ones buying the merchandise, either for themselves, for their kids. They're paying to go to those live events. They're getting the WWE network or going the old-fashioned way and paying for it on cable, satellite TV, right? So, wow, to actually just wrap your brain around that, to actually fathom the idea that something has been planned out months in advance, right? Now, I think it's interesting when you go back to December, as far as top merchandise pushers go for the WWE. Now, as late as December, Rusev, at that point, he currently was outselling everyone else in the WWE locker room with regards to merchandise. And that was according to Wrestling News. And it had sat just ahead. And I'm talking about his Happy Rusev Day t-shirt. That's the shirt I'm talking about. That's actually had sat ahead of AJ Styles, the one who gets it done. Usos down since one-ish. Second, third place, respectfully. Okay? So you hear that, you're going, oh, wow. Now you fast forward to now we have some new merchandise pushers. I can't wait to see just overall for like 2017 and then just overall so far for 2018 who's doing it. But right now, the top 4 best-selling shirts on WWE Shop right now, this news had dropped like about maybe a couple of days ago. You got AJ Styles with the house that AJ built. You've got Usos down since. Number 3, you have Elias World Tour. Number 4, you've got Braun, get these hands. Now, that's a pretty good feat for Braun, considering, several weeks back, a couple of months back, he was talking about, man, he pretty much said, hey, I got an idea for a new shirt, come get these hands. And you fast forward, okay, so he is moving along, right? We could all be in agreement of that. Whether you like Roman Reigns, you hate Roman Reigns, I just want you guys to have a better, you don't have to appreciate it for damn sure, but I just want you guys to have a better understanding from just the business standpoint, okay? And let's use this analogy. And I don't mind talking about this, I really don't, but let's use this analogy. This is a perfect analogy. You have yourself, let's talk wrestling. Let's use a wrestling analogy. You are starting up your own wrestling promotion. All right. And you've put the money out there as far as advertising, you have the talent, all that great stuff. Probably the only thing you don't have figured out, you even got your venue. All right. You got everything pretty much set up. Only thing you don't have figured out right now is who is going to be your champion. Now, there's a couple of cats that you're looking at and you're saying, man, they would be a really good champion. I wonder if I can maybe go in this direction with them. I mean, they got the look. They definitely have the look down. Got the size. Well, how are they in the ring? Well, only way you're going to know how they are in the ring, you got to test them out, right? All right, let's say they pass that test. Okay, well, can they talk? They're kind of struggling right now. I see something in them, though. If they can get the mic skills down, if they can get that ring persona down, I think I might be able to do something with them. Let me just work with them a little while longer. But at the same time, let me try to reach out there and see who is far advanced, who is somebody that they're going to be the face of my company. I'm going to make them be the champion, right? Now, let's say that guy you were looking at from months back, everything is coming together. Everything's coming along. You see the progress. Meanwhile, the other guy that you made champion, he's still doing pretty good for you. He is still bringing the asses to the seats. All right. He is still helping you out when it comes to the selling of the merchandise. What you guys need to understand at the end of the day, as much as we may want that first guy we were looking at to be champion, we've got to look at not just what's going on with that wrestler, the total package, but we also got to look at things from the business standpoint, which is if it ain't making dollars, it don't make sense. And I'm saying that with the S. I'm not saying that with the CENTS. I'm talking about the common sense. All right. So you have to look at it from that standpoint. You just have to. Because it doesn't matter. Oh, well, you know, that guy, man, I like that guy so much. Oh, he just seems like he'd be a great champion, man. Okay. So you blow your whole load on that guy. You haven't even tried to figure out if this guy can not only sell merchandise, but you haven't even paid attention to if this guy is pushing tickets at the gate when it comes to autograph signings and all that. And you're supposed to get your cut of the money. You don't even know how much money you really are making off of him. You don't really know if he's that marketable, not just in making you money, but bringing good business, to your company. So you're taking a lot of risk. You're taking a huge, what's the right word I'm looking for? A huge gamble. A huge gamble is what you're doing. So the fact that Braun Strowman has not become a WWE champion yet, I look at everything that's happening right now, and it is honestly a great slow progression. And that's the thing with today's society, instant gratification. And it's so funny. I was talking about this literally the other day with a coworker. A majority of the people in today's society, they want instant gratification. They have to have that instant gratification. I'll give you guys a perfect example. One of my favorite, I've said this on the show repeatedly, one of my favorite all-time episodes of Quantum Leap was the final episode, which was titled Mirror Image. And on that episode, Dr. Sam Beckett, he had finally leaped into himself, which was a big problem. And he leaped to the year date that he was born. And as a result of that, back home, Al and crew, they couldn't figure out where he was. It was like he just dropped off the face of the map or whatever. Okay. And the way that episode had ended, they had kind of got the word that they may or may not be coming back for another season. What was going to be their 6th season. They weren't sure if they were going to be coming back. So the way that they had ended the episode initially, they ended it in a way that was, oh, okay, so they're going to be back next season and they're going to address this. But then when they found out late that they weren't going to be coming back for another season, okay, we got to go back. We got to edit the episode. Let's just say, for the sake of the argument, the episode ended in the fashion they were going to be coming back for another season. Back then, and we're talking almost 20-something years ago, back then, fans would have been gathered around the water cooler at work, or they would have been talking about it at school, what have you. Man, did you see what happened to Sam? Oh my God, that was a great season finale. What do you think happened? Oh my God, oh my God. And you just have to wait it out during that summer. You got to wait until fall to see what was the fate of Dr. Sam Beckett. That was back then. Today's society, and a lot of the people, you know, this self-indulgence, this generation me, because it has to be all about them and the instant gratification generation. All right. Not everybody, but a vast majority, sadly. Perfect example, Walking Dead. I'll never forget. You had the season where it looked as though the Glenn Rhee character was being killed off. Now, I'm not talking about later on. I'm talking about that first rodeo. And anybody that watches Walking Dead will back me up on this. You had so many people that paid attention to that one episode. Y'all know what I'm talking about. And everybody was crying freaking foul. And they were complaining on social media. No, this can't be the end of him. He can't be dead. What the hell? Blah, 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 blah. And what eventually happened? You had the writers, you had the creators, they basically had caved, right? You've got Netflix. You don't have to wait each week for a new episode. An entire season. Take your pick, Jessica Jones, Defenders, Luke Cage, what have you. All the episodes are right there for you to watch. Watch them as many times as you want. And you know what's really fucking sad? You know what's really fucking sad? What's sad is by the time you get done watching all of that stuff on Netflix, you're instantly ready to watch another season. And you're saying, where's the next season? We've gotten to that point right now where don't want to wait in line and interact with the cashier for your food that you plan on ordering, and you're going to wait and pick it up, and maybe in the process you do a little bit of back and forth dialogue with them. Maybe it's a situation where during the process of you always coming there every other day or daily, you make a friend in the process, or you make some friends in the process. No, gone are those days. The minute that you think about food, instant gratification, you're going in, you're using an app, and you're putting in what you want. You're already paying for it. And then you pretty much walk on in, here to pick up my food. It's for Samuel's. Pick it up, roll out. Instant gratification. The way we shop now and everything is just, it's changing. It's changing how we're interacting. It's just about instant gratification. And when it comes to wrestling, we see a guy, we fall victim to this many times. We see a guy, in the case, Braun Strowman, man, he'd be really good as a champion. Oh man, we want the instant gratification. The minute that something clicks in our head and we say, that's the one, that's the flavor we're liking right now, we want the instant gratification. When I think we should take a bigger step back and we should say, you know what? We got to commend the guys in WWE for how they're handling this, because, you know, they could have done Braun Strowman literally like Roman Reigns and really forced this dude down our throats. They really could have taken that route. Just something to think about, man. But I really hope tackling all of those points, it really kind of brings things in a awesome perspective. And shout out to Heel Steven in the chat. tell me what was the name of the handle that you had used initially. There are so many spam people. You know, I always get asked, "Hey Lee, damn, I saw you had blocked me." This is the only way I will block somebody on Twitter, particularly Twitter. That's the only time I'll block somebody on Twitter. Only time I'll block somebody on Twitter is if honestly I'm looking at the content feed that you're offering and okay, it's not really my cup of tea. Or, and this is usually what happens, somebody will give me a follow, they won't interact with me, and it's kind of like I'm not doing that follow for follow bullshit. So Hill Steven, okay, so you told me your handle. Hang on, because I can only remember so many freaking people. So you guys don't think I'm paying attention to the chat, but I'm paying attention to what you guys are saying in the chat right now. Even the guy that, you know, honestly, and I don't want people to say, "Oh, Lee, you're being a dick." But when I see somebody that keeps asking every couple of seconds, "What does the RCWR stand for?" and the question hasn't been answered, what makes you think I'm gonna, you know, address that? Like seriously. Let's see here. I will tell you in a second here. Let's see if I can pull you up. Uh so that gives you something to think about, quite honestly. I mean, hopefully I won't have to really dive into that again. Because I really don't want to. I really don't. Mm, yeah, Hill Steven, nothing really comes to mind right now, man. I mean, honestly, the only thing I can think of is maybe it was a situation where you have followed and you weren't interacting. That's usually the only time I will block people on Twitter. If I'm not seeing there's interacting, I don't like following people that honestly I'm not interacting with, quite honestly. So, I mean, if you want, I can unblock you and you know you have at it, but I've just kind of gotten to that point. I'm not gonna be doing follow for follow and all that silly shit. I tried that, and man, I noticed when I need to read stuff the most from certain people, I'm not seeing it in my timeline. That's why it looks a lot smaller now than what it used to be, because I kind of used to do like some of you guys on Twitter. You would do all these freaking you would do all these freaking, you know, follow for follow back, or some, you know, some crap like that, you know. And I see that stuff about, you know, I interact, but you don't reply back. It depends. It's got to be something that you guys got to remember. I'm a one man show, so I've got to look at what you guys are looking at, and then I've got to do side projects. I'm either doing voiceover work, I'm doing some type of video, audio work. So I'm not really gonna be, you know, the way I try to use Twitter, honestly, I'll put my thoughts out there. If somebody says something that's really, really on point, I'll say something back. It's really got to be something. I'm not saying it's got to be on fire, but I think honestly, the best time, if you want me to address a question, it shouldn't be, "Look at me, Lee, look at me, I'm saying something." It shouldn't be like that. But if you have like, and don't give me a softball question. Don't give me, you know, "Do you think Hulk Hogan looks better in white trunks or yellow trunks?" I mean, if I'll give you a perfect scenario. Usually I will say, if you guys got a question you want me to tackle on the show, post a question. As long as you do something like that, I will always take the time out and I will address it. But as far as Twitter goes, the only time I block somebody is honestly if, you know, I see it's a situation where they follow me and then, okay, well, I guess I'll follow them. It's cool. I follow them and then there's no interactions. It's like, that's a waste of a follow. Why, you know, when I can be following somebody that is doing a little bit more than just, okay, I'm interacting. They're sharing the links for the shows, they're retweeting, all of that good stuff. All of that good stuff. You know, it goes so much more than that. I think that's honestly the best way that people should be using a platform like Twitter. There sure is a lot of fucking follow you. I follow you, you follow back. It's like, the fuck kind of shit is that? No, follow somebody because you fucking fuck with them and you like their fucking shit. fuck this whole follow for follow jive. Like, oh, can I get a follow? Please, can I get a follow? It's like, kick rocks. Anyway, let's continue on. Raw, SmackDown key points. It feels like we've been doing a long show so far. Let me see how we're doing on time here. And I actually don't mind it if we do a longer show tonight because I'm actually off work tomorrow, and I'm actually gonna be seeing Black Panther. True story. I tried to see Black Panther Sunday. Keep in mind, the movie had already been out for what, a week. And I decided, okay, you know what? I'm gonna take the missus out. I owe her a date. You know, we got to go eat somewhere afterwards. I owe her movie and brunch. Yeah, we're gonna go see Black Panther. All right. So we get to the theater. And I bullshit you not, the freaking theater, lines and lines and lines and lines and lines and lines of people. It was ridiculous. I had got such a high anxiety that it wasn't even funny. And I said to my girl, I said, I can't deal with this. This is way too many people for me. What the flying hell? And she said to me, well, you know, it made so much money opening weekend and it's really catching on to a lot of people. You know, a lot of people are going out of their way to see it. You know, this is having a reverse effect, because normally what we would do is when it would come to a movie on opening weekend, we would either do two things. We would either see it opening weekend, but we would see the first morning showing, or it would be a scenario where we would let opening weekend pass, going into the second week, you know, we pretty much see it then. No, I mean, what we saw was ridiculous. And I'm not exaggerating. I wish I was exaggerating. If you ask me for a rough estimate of how many people were ahead of us, at least, I'm not bullshitting, there were at least about almost 200 people that were ahead of us. And I just wasn't having it. And I'm going, okay, is this a situation where maybe the kids are out right now? Is there some type of holiday break I don't know about? Like, what the hell is going on here? No, everybody is still in school. Okay. Is there a new holiday that was created that I don't know about? No new holiday. It's the weekend, and this is how everybody does it. Word of mouth has spread it big time. It's like, okay, cool. So I'm actually going to try to see Black Panther tomorrow morning, and I'm hoping that it won't be as bad as it was from what I experienced on Sunday, because that just, that was crazy for me. So I'm hoping that with it being the middle of the week, kids are still in school, parents should be at work, I should be able, like I normally do. And that's the kicker. Like, usually when I go to a movie theater, the second week, I'm pretty much in and out, especially when it comes to these Marvel movies or superhero movies. I'm usually in and out. Maybe worst case scenario, there's 4, maybe 5 people ahead of me, but I'm able to go in and I'm able to come out. But this was, wow. No, we need to turn back. There's no way I'm going through this. Not today. You'd have swore like maybe tickets for Soundgarden, and somehow they dug up Chris Cornell and he's singing, you know, Black Hole Sun. You're like you're going, okay, oh, let's get in on this, right? But no, it was ridiculous. So I'm gonna try to see how this goes tomorrow. And if it goes right, then there's gonna be a planned episode of 30 with Lee. Which, by the way, I want to remind you guys kindly that there's a lot of good exclusive content you can check out on the Patreon page. Now that I've had the free time, I've been, or extra free time, now that I'm not working a second gig, and I still got my first gig. I'm loving it, having a good time. And I'm also staying busy with some side projects, voiceover work, things of that nature. But now I've been able to focus on Patreon. And for those of you movie buffs, 30 with Lee, it tackles talking about current movies playing in theaters, and mainly it talks about a lot of throwback movies. and I always have fun doing that show. That's a Patreon only exclusive show. And me and Tammy are toying around. We just got to figure out the name of the show, but we're trying to figure out a really good show that we can do where we're just talking about some random stuff for like about maybe 30-40 minutes or whatever. But as it stands right now, you've got 2 new episodes of 30 with Lee that's available to listen to right now, on top of the, I think grand total, there's 13 episodes. Yes, there's 13 episodes of 30 with Lee that's available to listen to right now for Patreon. And all you got to do, sign up, $5 a month. That's it. $5 a month. You get access to 30 with Lee. You get access to any new exclusive episodes of the RCWR show. You get exclusive access to that. You also get exclusive access to, I'm toying with the idea, but I may, as an experiment, bring back Impact Showdown. If I do decide I want to bring back Impact Showdown, I'm going to do it on Patreon. I think Impact Wrestling has a pay-per-view coming up, so if anything, I'm probably gonna try to tackle it that way and maybe do like a test run that way to see how many are really gauged. But yeah, a lot of cool content that's available, so check it out, patreon.com/RCWR show. And slowly but surely, vintage RCWR show episodes. There's going to be like some guest exclusive stuff. There's a whole lot of good stuff that's coming in the works for the Patreon page, but that's pretty good for just $5. You can't beat that. So, key points from Raw. So we saw that contract signing that had went down, Elimination Chamber with Ronda Rousey, and now we have this situation where Ronda showed up for Raw, officially a part of the Raw roster, as she's talking to Kurt Angle, Triple H, Stephanie. I wasn't really feeling that whole segment, but Kurt Angle did come off a little bit better. I'm not sure what was going on with Kurt Angle on Sunday night. It is what it is. I would imagine sometimes it can be a bit challenging to remember certain lines that you're supposed to say and the way you're supposed to execute those lines. I'm not really cutting up on Kurt Angle too much like that, but I got to say my guy over at Botchamania is going to be having a good time splicing the hell and doing a remix of that one. But if you ask me how I enjoyed the Ronda Rousey segment on Raw, it was okay. It was okay to just follow up on what I said. And I was just amazed at the amount of people that were just crapping on Ronda Rousey's Ronda Rousey's freaking mic work. It's like, give her time. Give her time. She's, anybody that's followed her career from the MMA world knows she's not really much of a talker, kind of similar to Brock. But I'll say this much about Ronda. If Ronda has enough time to prep for an interview, and if it's a situation where somewhat in advance, she knows about the questions that's going to be asked, things of that nature, she can give out some pretty decent interviews. She has a lot to offer from the top of her brain, but this is a completely different beast. You're asking somebody to not go out there and be a fighter. Don't just come out there and whoop ass. You're asking somebody to come out there and show personality, try to somehow connect to the crowd, get some type of a reaction. And I just loved being reaffirmed with my mindset of go out there if you're an up-and-coming wrestler and get some type of a reaction from the crowd. Because I'll never forget, there was a wrestler, it was an independent wrestler. This guy, he was in his early 20s, and I want to say the guy was just maybe starting off. He probably didn't even have 8 months under his belt. And somehow we got on the subject about, hey, it's very critical that for a wrestler's career, when they're going out there to perform, they get some type of a reaction. Any reaction is better than no reaction at all. It ties into the longevity. And, he didn't like what I had said. He honestly, I bullshit you not, he did not like that I had said that. And he ended up blocking me. like I give two shits. Kick rocks, right? It's like it's nice being reaffirmed when you talk to and you have friends that are in the business and they say, yeah, that's true. And here's why. And they expand on it more. But what was really refreshing, I have been reading the Ric Flair, Charlotte Flair book on my iPad Pro. And there was a section where even Charlotte had said, you know, it's important to go out there and get some type of a reaction, you know, get something. It's better than nothing. And to see the mixed reaction for Ronda Rousey, I've been paying attention. You had got the boos from a couple of weeks ago at Raw when they announced that she was going to be doing this Elimination Chamber signing. You fast forward to Elimination Chamber, and I loved how at the top of the show for Raw, they spliced the hell out of the crowd. Hey, did y'all peep that? You had Raw open up, and you've got freaking Ronda Rousey coming out, and you've got all these happy faces and the piped in Ronda, 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 and you're going, yeah, there's those alternate facts. Yeah, okay, I see what WWE is doing right there. Okay, yeah, whatever. Next. But as we all saw, mixed reactions, a lot of heckling, decent amount of boos. So we all know that with regards to how Raw had ended, and we saw Kurt Angle get sucker punched by Triple H, what Triple H really wanted to do was hit the crap out of Ronda Rousey. I don't mean to laugh at that. I really don't. But if you stop and think about it, what we got from Triple H on Monday night was Queen Petty. That wasn't the King of Kings. That wasn't the cerebral assassin. What we had got storyline wise Monday night was Queen Petty. That's Triple H's new name, Queen Petty, because for him to just sucker punch Kurt Angle like that, and this is going exactly the way that I had called it. I think I called this maybe, if not 3 weeks ago, for sure 2 weeks ago. I basically had said, honestly, with Jason Jordan out, the way it's looking right now, I doubt we're going to get a Kurt Angle taking on Triple H one-on-one. I even reaffirmed that, I want to say, if not on the Elimination Chamber after show, I said it on the prediction show. Can't really, but I know I said it way before even those two that I laid out. And I basically said, yeah, you know, honestly, the way this is looking, Ronda Rousey may not have access to a Dwayne The Rock Johnson because of his movie schedule and all that. You got Jason Jordan now, so you might have to go with the next best thing, which is Kurt Angle teaming up with Ronda to take on Stephanie McMahon and Triple H at WrestleMania. And honestly, I have no problem with that. Honestly, I have no problem with that whatsoever. At this point, will a Triple H return, will a Kurt Angle return to one-on-one action? Yeah, I truly believe that we will see Kurt Angle in a one-on-one matchup. It'll go down. Can I make a bold prediction? I'm going to say SummerSlam 2018. I think that's when it's going to go down. If you ask me who is Kurt Angle going to be facing by then, I'm kind of having the impression that maybe he's going to be taking on Jason Jordan. Now, some would ask, well, Lee, could you maybe eventually come on back to next year's WrestleMania? And could you maybe do Kurt Angle taking on Triple H? You possibly could. It would be a good match. You could possibly, you know, under the right set of circumstances, you could probably go back to that. It just depends. Quite honestly, it just depends. But I thought it was a well executed segment compared to what we had got from all of those guys less than 24 hours at the Elimination Chamber, pretty much closing it out. I thought that was, I thought everybody had did pretty good. They didn't exactly address the whole, well, why did Ronda sign the contract, her WWE contract anyway, if she kind of felt as though she was being misled, blah, 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 blah. That just, I didn't like the fact that they left that out in the air. Don't pay me no mind, guys, but for me, as somebody that, you know, occasionally would write comics, write little poems, graphic novels, write little storyboards and all that. If there's one thing I know how to do is try to connect the dots and making sure there's no gaps. But for me, just having that lingering gap, I guess that's just something I'm going to have to just accept and say, all right, well, for me, maybe I'm being too particular. But one thing that I can latch on, let me see if I got this straight. So John Cena shows up on Monday Night Raw. And he pretty much goes, oh, yeah, my road to WrestleMania. Yeah, there was a detour at Elimination Chamber. Oh, my God, I don't really know what I'm going to be doing now. Right. And I like how he reeled the fans into potentially a match with The Undertaker. And everybody's up in arms. They're cheering. They're roaring that. I told you guys, I said either John Cena is getting ready to challenge the Hulkster or he's getting ready to challenge The Undertaker. Either way, the fans will be happy, right? Nope, neither of those. Damn sure ain't going to be no Undertaker. And anybody that had watched Raw Talk, you saw a pretty interesting segment with John Cena that really just kind of made you take a step back and go, so what's really going on here? And I'm talking about the unedited version. I'm not talking about the edited version that's available on the network right now. I'm talking about the unedited, uncensored version of Raw Talk with Cena. I know my buddy Mish from Wrestling Soup, he tried to actually post that on a private YouTube channel, and YouTube somehow they caught wind of that and they pulled that bad boy down. And just some of the things that John Cena had said, and I'm just going to kind of expand. I'm going to take it a step further. If you ask me honestly, would I like to see a John Cena Undertaker match? No, I would not. And if you ask me why do I not want to see a John Cena Undertaker match, I would say to you a couple of things, not going all long and drawn out. But one of the things I would say to you off the break is, what is the point of this match? That's my first question to you. What would the point of this match be? And that's the question that I'm posing to anybody right now. I'm live on the air right now. So you tell me, what would the point be in a realistically, storyline wise? Give me something I can sink my teeth into. What would the point of John Cena versus Undertaker be? That is my challenge to those of you in the chat right now. All right. And I agree with Austin, who's saying Cena versus Taker, it's about 5 years too late. I would definitely agree with that. Right. But what's the point? Just marinate on that for a few ticks while I have a swig. So if you say to me, oh, well, Lee, these two guys never locked it up at WrestleMania, I would say, and I've never gotten a blowjob at WrestleMania. What's your point? So again, what's the point in Cena taking on Taker at WrestleMania? Put that right there. I'll come back to that in the end. I may have a solution to that. Second, did anybody watch and see? This is how you know who's really paying attention to the content that's being put out by WWE, especially when it comes to the network. Because anybody that is a true old school fan of wrestling, loves all forms of wrestling, loves eating and breathing anything wrestling content they can get, they're going to be checking out things that not necessarily have anything to do with wrestling, but kind of has a little bit in between, so to speak, right? Did anybody forget about the WWE 24/7 special? And they had recapped all the things that led up to last year's WrestleMania. You see Undertaker way before he even does his freaking match against Roman Reigns. He's limping around. I mean, this guy is looking to be in some really freaking bad shape. And then after the match, I mean, you go back the past couple of WrestleManias, including last year's, Undertaker physically so beat up, so bad. He's in the hospital for like a week, 2 weeks, or some crap like that. Okay. Taker's a big dude. I don't mean weight wise. I'm talking height wise. He's a pretty big dude. And that style of wrestling that he's done over these past couple of what is he on now? What is it, like almost 3 decades basically? Yeah, 9 times out of 10 there's going to be some serious wear and tear for the Undertaker with that type of style that he was doing for all of those years. Yes, without a doubt, there's going to be some serious, significant wear and tear. And I'm sorry, but if I'm the WWE, dudes, I love me some Undertaker. I do, man. I love me some Undertaker. I even fucked with Bike Rider Taker. I love me some Bike Rider Taker. Now, if you ask me which theme song I had liked when he was badass Motorcycle Taker, oh, that's a toss-up because I'm thinking about Kid Rock. I am American Badass. And then you got Fred Durst, keep rolling, 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 rolling. And then you've got the Dead Man Walking. I've got to say Dead Man Walking, but not the one with the vocals. I actually like the one with the instrumental. He came out to it briefly before they applied the vocals. I actually love the instrumental one more. That was really pretty badass for me. But I love me some Taker, man. Love me some Taker. Anything Undertaker related that comes out, whether it's an encyclopedia or DVD compilation, even if it's recycled matches from a previous compilation, man, all day, all night, give me Undertaker. I will watch a Undertaker match if I happen to come across it, whether it's on the network or it's suggested to me on YouTube, Daily Motion, whatever. I always go out of my way. I check the stuff out. So I have a lot of respect for the Undertaker, and I appreciate everything that he's done for the business. But business-wise, yeah, you're going to have those fans that's always going to be expecting Undertaker because it's kind of like Christmas. It's not WrestleMania without the Undertaker, right? But man, seeing how Undertaker has been coming out of these matches these past couple of years, just physically drained. And you go, my God, man, holy blue fucking hell. How can this guy come out here? Wow, how can he even walk after that? No, he's got to be done now, man. That's man, he's done. So everything I've seen with Taker these past several years and hearing about the different type of surgeries he's been getting, yeah, sure, when you haven't wrestled for damn near 365 days out of the year, yeah, you're probably going to be nice and rested up. You're going to probably be able to go at it for a good 20, 25 minutes. But that 20 to 25 minutes is probably going to feel like an eternity of hell. I don't want to see Taker. The Taker I saw last year, it was sad. I can't tell you how sad I was seeing that. And I had the impression that was it. And now you're telling me that we're possibly going to be getting The Undertaker one more time. I hope WWE strongly considers this step. I'm hoping they don't go in this direction. If they are going to go in this direction, you got to do the right thing. I personally feel. And I think the right thing that needs to happen, it needs to be a retirement match. That's honestly how it needs to go down. It needs to be a retirement match. Whoever loses at WrestleMania, put something on the line, man. Because the streak don't matter. The streak does not matter. To the point, you're doing Brock Lesnar, Roman Reigns. Okay, and so you're going to have Undertaker. I don't know. For me personally, storyline, the bragging rights, makes a lot more sense to go in the direction of don't have Undertaker on there. That way you could put more emphasis on the two men that did beat the Undertaker. You sell that. That seems more. You understand what I'm saying, folks? So you go back to this potential John Cena versus Undertaker. Okay, so who's supposed to come out on top? Do you give John Cena the win so that Undertaker can retire? Like, what do you do exactly? And I don't see a situation where John Cena's going to lose if you're putting a retirement stipulation out there. I just don't. Well, you might be able to get away with it, but have it be a situation where John Cena could come back after about 6, maybe 7 months. You could maybe do some type of an angle like that, because if you really stop and think about it, with these dual pay-per-views coming to an end and everything is going to be in one house, and we all know way SmackDown has been looking, the live events, it's been bad. The tickets just have not been selling. SmackDown really hasn't been what it used to be, which would probably explain why John Cena had popped up on SmackDown earlier tonight. They're trying to do everything they can. So it's possible that maybe Taker is the one. If I'm booking this, I'm having Undertaker retire John Cena. You gotta put a stipulation out there. You gotta put something out there that'll make fans, okay, I want to see how this is going to play out. You can't hide behind the whole Undertaker, John Cena. These two guys never met up at a WrestleMania. So what would happen? You can't hide behind that notion. There's got to be some type of a stipulation put out there. I feel that's the best route you could go. But at the same time, I honestly don't believe that the powers that be in the WWE are going to go in a direction of, okay, after this, we can start planning on what we want to do with Undertaker next year. No. Taker's in his what, mid-50s now? How old is Taker? I'm not seeing another WrestleMania. I'm just not. Next year, bold prediction, next year, Hall of Fame. And I know it's been a situation where, but we've all had this kind of talk before. This is going to be Taker's last. But it's hard to challenge that argument when you've seen physically how, what's the right word I'm looking for? When physically of a decline you've seen Undertaker these past few WrestleManias. And that should be a big testament, folks, because here's a guy that's only doing one match out of the year, and it's physically that demanding for the guy. So, okay, do we really want to? No. So I just personally feel that no matter what, and then especially when you go back and you connect the dots, you look at the cryptic promo that he had cut on Raw 25 weeks back. It led to the impression that was somewhat of a semi-retirement speech, so to speak. So that's how I honestly would go about that match. I think you're gonna have to put a retirement stipulation, or loser quits the WWE effective immediately, some jazz like that, and you could pretty much do it that way. But I'm seeing John Cena losing if they're gonna do this. And if they are going to go in this direction, you can definitely expect for The Undertaker to also pop up on SmackDown as well. Again, until we have both brands under one roof when it comes to these pay-per-view events, I would suspect that SmackDown in the coming weeks is going to get a lot of help if they are going to go the Taker route. Speaking of Taker, John Cena, hilarious. So we see John Cena come on out, give this announcement. Okay, I came up short at Elimination Chamber. I don't know what I'm going to do now, but come check me out on SmackDown. That was just, oh, wow. What a Rickroll. He Rickrolled the entire crowd. And so we see him on SmackDown tonight. He did get an opportunity. Shane McMahon, Daniel Bryan, they basically booked him in a match against AJ Styles, and if he beat AJ Styles, then it would become a 6-pack challenge for the WWE title at the Fastlane pay-per-view that's going to be happening in less than 2 weeks. So John Cena now added to that. And shout out to Steven. Undertaker's 52. 52, but the way he moves, it's almost like he's damn near 60. That's ridiculous, ain't it? Yeah, that's ridiculous. So yeah, so it's now a 6-man pack challenge for the WWE title at Fastlane. I'm actually pretty excited to see how that matchup is going to do. Something else I wanted to get into, I couldn't wait to get into this either. Paige. So Paige has been a victim on social media in the form of body shamming. And I just, when I heard this, I'm going, wait a minute, say what? What's going on here? And I wasn't even really aware of this until I went out of my way and I kind of went back, looked at previous weeks of footage, and we have people saying, oh, Paige has gotten fat. Paige has gotten chunky. Oh, Paige has gotten thick. And she's being ridiculed on social media. I heard this. I was amazed. I'm going, wait a minute now. There's actually people that are jumping out there that are taking crack at this 25-year-old girl. That's a woman. Correct myself, woman. She's going to be 26 in August. There are people that are taking aim at her for picking up a little bit of weight. And honestly, the fact that I really didn't notice when I actually really looked at her, I'm seeing, okay, so somewhat around the waist, but definitely going towards the butt area, the hips. You know, she's kind of filling out. She's almost kind of filling out when you go below the chest. She's almost kind of filling out a little bit like her mom, so to speak. So I'm seeing this and I'm kind of going, okay, and she's being ridiculed. Like, I don't understand this. So she posted this thing on, I guess it was on Twitter, on her Twitter page. She had addressed it. Instagram. She addressed it on Instagram. Let me read to you what she said. She said the following: when the internet society keeps saying she got fat, Paige got big. Paige is a big girl now. I post another full body selfie. I'm just shoving a middle finger up in the air to body shammers. Being in the public eye can be hard when people out there are jealous and just want to make you feel bad about yourself to make them feel better about themselves. I was too skinny. Now I'm considered too big. It's ridiculous, but I'm happy. People of all shapes and sizes are beautiful. Be confident. You don't have to be in the public eye to be cyberbullied. Just being on social media in general can generate the worst hate sometimes. But you know, when you have haters, that means you're doing something right. And she went on to say, tag me in your selfie today to show me how beautiful you all are. Plus, the trolls will hate it and they'll see it that you're confident in yourself and know you're beautiful. This isn't a pity party post. This is just to show the world we don't care what they think. Hashtag every human deserves respect. I've always been consistent with any type of constructive criticism I've had of Paige. I've always been consistent, especially with regards to her personal life, and honestly, just wanting the best for her, just wanting her to be happy, just wanting her to do whatever she needs to do to better take care of herself. And Lord knows, we all have been in a position, teenage years, going into our early to mid 20s, where we do some stuff and we say, man, what the hell was I thinking when I had did that? Well, really, what was I thinking? That was so freaking stupid. And for all these people that are complaining about Paige and her new build, I can't help but wonder how many of these people are teenagers. I can't help but wonder how many of these people were in a position where at one point they let me be candid. Can I be candid with you guys? These people that are probably complaining about Paige's new build are probably people that have not even cracked puberty yet or right at the peak, and they see Paige on their TV and it is just one hot piece of tail. I'm being respectful here, okay? And they have fantasies when they see Paige. Go on some of your favorite porn sites and you will see, let me put it to you this way, you will see tributes to Paige. Don't act like you don't know what the hell I'm talking about. I know you guys have gone, wait, what the hell? Yeah, okay, whatever. Anyway, let me go to the next video. So I'm just okay. And you're mad because she picked up some weight. Let's keep it real. Let's keep it at 100 for a second here. If anybody knows a thing or two about taking in harsh comments, it's me. All right. I have been doing this, what's going to become November 2018, 7 years. My time flies. And I can't tell you the comments I have received over the years. Either I get the N word, and I don't mean the N word ending in a as an apple. I get the N word ending in a hard ER. Coon. I've gotten the F-GGOT. I've gotten the gorilla. I've gotten the, oh, that guy looks like Carl Winslow. I've gotten the, oh, that guy looks like the black dude that was killed from The Walking Dead. I've gotten, oh, you look like a broke ass Emmett Smith. I've gotten, oh, you look like a wannabe Michael Wilbon. Go eat some more tasty cakes. Oh my God, you look like you reek of cigarettes, Black and Mouse, 211, some Hennessy. You stupid freaking N-GGER. So, you know how I've always handled it? With a smile. I continue to try to do my very best day in and day out to treat people the way I want to be treated, and I try to do my best to treat people with respect. And even if it's a situation where sometimes I don't get that respect back, I can't tell you how many times I'll maybe get somebody on Epic Sports, for example. This guy sucks! And I say, hey, saw your comment. Why don't you offer some ways of improving? I'd be more than happy to listen to your constructive criticism. Okay, you're saying it sucks. What sucks about it? What is it that you don't like? Give me a little bit more info. That way I can definitely do my part in making it a better product that hopefully you come on back, you listen again, you'll give me another shot. Thanks for commenting. And most times I say that, there's no point counterpoint. Sometimes it could just be a situation where somebody is just trolling just to be trolling. But if anybody knows about taking in the type of crap that Paige is now getting, I'm definitely one of those guys. And I tell you, I commend Paige for just mentally where she's at right now, because anybody else probably would have just been going back and forth. They would have allowed this to get to their psyche. They would have. Anybody else, doesn't matter if you're a female or a male, anybody else, most people, they would allow this to get to them. My feathers don't get ruffled anymore. When I see somebody call me something, it's like, that's the best you have? Seriously, is that the best that you have? Because I've been called a lot worse, and this is all you got. Seriously. And we're in this day and age, sadly, where there are what I've been calling them. I've been calling them for this for years. I think I'm the only one that calls them this. Big bad keyboard warriors. That's what I call them. And that's what they are. They say all this stupid bullshit behind a computer or on their phone. They put this little crap out there. I especially love the insults that come from people that'll go, I can't stand this podcast. Man, I can do one better than them. And the jabroni has an avatar of Justin Bieber or Taylor Swift, or it's a blank avatar or whatever like that. In some cases, you're able to see their Twitter or their Facebook profile, and there's some 12-year-old kid or whatever. You actually have some young adults that operate in this fashion as well, and it's quite sad, I must say. In this day and age, especially after we have this whole thing with the Trump administration, I'm not going to pin it all on the Trump administration because that's a different topic for a completely different show. But I think we can all be in agreement that what was always a undertone when President Obama was in office has now been fully exploited with one President Donald Trump at the helm. And it's so interesting because part of what I do at work is market research. And a lot of the questions, information that I'm taking in, a lot of times I have to actually interview respondents, whether it's in person or I'm running some stuff with them over the phone. It's always nice picking their brains just to try to figure out if they would really be a good candidate for market research purposes, focus group purposes, things of that nature. And one of the things that I love doing is an articulation question, is what we call it. And basically, the articulation question would be, take a moment. This is a legit one. Take a moment and think about if you had to give a speech on anything in the world. What would it be about and why? And one of the main themes that I have been picking up is a couple of things, but now I've got a new one that's kind of edging out more and more that fits what we're talking about here tonight. And a lot of the people that I spoke with, they want to see more and more people have self-love and respect towards each other. And I don't know what it is, but it just seems like there's not enough of that going around. You would think that after all the crap that had went down in Florida at that school, everybody would try to look at things a little bit differently. Yeah. But you're reminded when Paige tells you about this crap that's been coming at her on social media, it's not all peaches and cream. And I mean, okay, so she's picked up what? Maybe an additional 15, 20 pounds? I'm sorry, but when I first saw her, given when she first came to the WWE, all right, that made a lot of sense. The way her build was back then, that made a lot of sense because she came in pretty young. Okay, but now she's a few years shy of turning 30. I'm sorry, but unless you are a fitness guru, which Paige never really has given me that impression. Not saying she's sloppy or anything like that. I'm just saying, as far as being gotta go to the gym, I gotta lift the weights, I've never really picked up that vibe from her before she even came to the WWE. Never had that vibe. Unless you're a fitness guru, when you are creeping up on your 30s, the pounds start to sneak up. The pounds do start to sneak up. And unless you put yourself on a very strict low carb, uh, low calorie diet, yeah, those carbs, those calories, it can definitely add up. But you know what I see when I look at Paige? Something I haven't seen in a long time, and it is a beautiful thing. I love seeing her smile. It seems like when she was with Alberto Del Rio, yeah, early on, puppy love. But then the more and more time that progressed, I didn't really see her smile as much. It just really seemed like she was just tolerating the position that she was in, trying to make the best of what she had, just staying content. And who the fuck are we to judge? She's gonna do what she is gonna do, and okay, she's packed on some pounds. We don't like it. There's plenty of other women that we can look at. Hey, some guys, they don't like too much meat on their women, but the majority of guys, you line up a bunch of guys, minus everything that went down with the whole Paige and the leak of the porn video and all the crap that went down with Alberto El Patron. I guarantee you'd be able to line up a rack of dudes that would still say, yeah, I'd ask Paige out on a date. Sure. I'd love to go out with her. I'd love to go, I don't know, get a coffee or something. I'm happy for her. I mean, she seems to be smiling more and more. She's got a new boyfriend. He seems to be pretty established. Okay. So, good for her. That's all I have to say. Side note, I see these new tattoos that she had got. What is it? Get shit, get bit or something like that. I thought she was trying to say something about a Fitbit when I had first saw it. I think that's cool. I have always been a fan of tattoo artwork. Every single time I'm thinking about getting a tattoo, something always happens. I don't chicken now. It's just the money that I raised to get the tattoo, I have to spend it on something else. So I'm hoping that before the big 4-0 hits in a couple of years, I'll finally be able to get a damn tattoo. But I've always had love and appreciation for all kinds of tattoos. I remember when I was in junior high, going into high school, used to be a monthly tattoo magazine or two I would always grab, and I would just look at the artwork. I was just, wow, amazing. So I think that's cool. I love the self-expression of art when it comes to tattoos. I personally do not have a problem with it. However, I could see this being an issue for the WWE in the form of any type of autograph signings that they may be trying to set up down the road, and WWE's flipping the bill, and Paige is coming, to represent. And some fans, now that they know that she has these tattoos, hey, can you do the fist thing with and what exactly is going to happen then? Is she going to be under strict orders from the WWE? Hey, you can't display that. You can't do that. Or, it's a difficult situation. It's a difficult. No, I understand the correct terminology for the whole body shamers. No, I call it shammers. Shammers. That's what I call it. I know the correct terminology for it, Razor, but for me, I don't care what you call them. They're all assholes. That's what I call them. Body shaming assholes. That's what they're doing. They're shaming. Shammers, shaming, assholes when it's all said and done. Epic, you got to group all that all together, buddy. See what other stuff we can get into on the show here. We got about an hour 54. Everything's looking pretty good so far. Yeah, I see that the NXT Dusty Rhodes Classic Tournament bracket has been revealed. For those of you that may be a little bit curious how that is looking, shaping up to be pretty good. I've got the bracket right here. I want to share it with you guys. And I want to kindly remind you, if you're enjoying the show so far, make sure you give me a thumbs up, click on the like, share throughout social media. You haven't done so already, follow the show, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, also on YouTube. Use the keywords, the RCWR Show. And yeah, doing pretty good so far on Showtime. I'm trying to see if I can pull up in my show notes here the bracket for that Dusty Rhodes tournament that's coming up. And I don't have the bracket. Let me come back to that bracket. I do want to talk about the New Japan Pro Wrestling Cup 2018 bracket. New Japan, they had announced the bracket for the 16-man single elimination New Japan Cup tournament. It's going to be held between March 9th and March 21st. All of the events will be airing on NJPW World, and half of them will include English commentary. The winner, get this, will receive a shot at the IWGP Heavyweight Champion. And the top bracket right now for the first round, it's going to be Michael Elgin taking on Tomohiro Ishii. Juice Robinson will take on Yahiro Takahashi. Hishira Tanahashi will take on Tachi. Bad Luck will take on Lance Archer. Lance Archer, there's a name I haven't heard of in a good minute. Your bottom bracket, Yoshihashi will take on Kota Ibushi. Tetsuya Naito will take on Zack Sabre Jr. That should be a damn good one. Toru Yano will take on Davey Boy Smith Jr. I'm going to be paying attention to that one. And Chucky T will be taking on Sonata. Looking forward to that one as well. Last year, Kasayuri Shibata had defeated Bad Luck in the finals and would then lose to IWGP Heavyweight Champion Okada at the Sakura Genesis 2017. The first New Japan Cup will air March 9th at 4:30 a.m. Eastern, 1:30 a.m. Pacific. And for those of you that's going, what the hell is March 9th? March 9th will be a Friday. So pretty much the beginning of Friday is when that will be coming on. I don't really know. I might watch that. I'll have to. I don't know. I might watch that. We'll wait and see. I do have some NXT news for you guys, especially for those of you that's going to be in the DMV. Big news. NXT for the very first time is going to be bringing NXT action to the nation's capital and the surrounding areas. Tickets are going to be going on sale March 4th. And the way it's looking right now, we're going to have NXT. They're going to be in DC performing at the Anthem. Actually had looked up pictures for the event, and it looks pretty damn good from what I had saw. I want to say, when are they coming to DC? I'm trying to remember. I want to say they're coming to DC around, is it April? Hang on, guys, because I want to give you that information. I had it, but my computer had did a damn reset. I wasn't really feeling that. It actually had happened while I was on air with you guys here. Let me see here. I'll just say NXT tickets, and I'll say Washington, DC. They actually had a commercial. Here it is. They actually had a commercial that aired for it during Raw, and I was actually pretty damn stoked when they had made the announcement. All right, so they're dubbing this the Mid-Atlantic Region Tour, basically, and everything will kick off in Washington, D.C., because it's going to be their first time in D.C. They're going to be at the Anthem. That is going to be on April the 19th. Then on Friday the 20th, they will be in Bethlehem, Pennsylvania. That's on Friday, April 20th. And then the APF Federal Credit Union Arena in Bel Air, Maryland on Saturday, April 21st. And things pretty much wrap up April 22nd with NXT live event debut in Jonestown, PA at the Cambria County War Memorial Arena. Again, tickets are going to be going on sale this Friday at 10 a.m. Eastern. You can head on over to nxttickets.com. Again, nxttickets.com. I'm actually going to try to see if I can get tickets to it, because I've been hearing that NXT tickets have been pretty affordable for the most part. For those that's not really able to go to Raw or SmackDown, I don't know why that keeps dropping for those that's not able to go to Raw or SmackDown. So that's some good news right there. And other than that, let's see, what else can we get into? One other thing I wanted to talk about on the show with you guys, while I still got you all. I am aware of what's come about with this armed security guard that should have went into the school. A lot of people felt he should have gone into the school, but he had spent anywhere between 4 to 5 minutes not doing anything, just pretty much ducking for cover, if you will. We've heard what President Trump had to say about the guy. And, you know, if you ask me straight up, here's the thing. And I have a grand total of about, I would say, 10 years of security knowledge under my belt. And where I had worked, I'm not going to give the location, but where I had last did security, it was pretty big. Let me put it to you that way. The site that I worked at, it was pretty big. There was a lot of access. Where I worked, it actually had made the news because there was a gunman that did some crazy, stupid shit. And I tell you, based on the training that I've had over the years, what should have went down was that officer that had been working at that school since 2009, he should have been assessing the situation, trying to find out where the danger is coming from. Keep in mind, this guard knows the school in and out, and he was armed. Should he have gone in? He was armed. Yes. If you ask me for my honest opinion, you and me were just shooting the shit. You asked me for my honest opinion, I would say to you, yes, he should have gone in because he was armed. I can't tell you in all the years that I have worked security how many times, how many sites I've worked at where it's been a scenario where, man, if only we were armed, if only we were carrying a gun, especially during the graveyard shifts. I mean, hell, where I had just worked at, I can't tell you how many times I had conversations with the other guard that I was working with who was a female. And although she would be driving around mostly all night, sadly, it would be a situation where, you know, don't let it get too late because the weirdos would come out. And for her, I don't know what it was because she was pretty skinny. Girl needed to eat a couple of hamburgers and some fries, but she was cute. She was definitely cute in the face. She reminded me a lot of, God rest her soul. She reminded me a lot of my late ex-wife. And it's so funny too, because when I first saw her, I'm going, holy shit. And had half of the ex-wife's personality down, but was kind of dirty in the end. I must say it was kind of dirty in the end. Showed her true colors as far as I was concerned. Once a situation occurred where she came into power, and then all of a sudden, she pretty much half forgot about the people that helped her out along the way and getting her to where she was now in a position of power. But that's a different topic, you know. Bygones are bygones. But I can't tell you how many times I would have conversations with her saying, "Man, if we're in charge of all of this." By default, they were supposed to supply us with mace, handcuffs. They were supposed to supply us with a taser and or a nightstick. Didn't give us none of that. They were being cheap. And there would be so many conversations where we'd say, man, if only we were armed, if only we, at least give us a nightstick, but if we had a gun, that'd be great. You also have a scenario where for a lot of security officers, they know where the big money is. The big money is in becoming a special police officer. And then in becoming a special police officer, not only does that command you a higher salary, a higher hourly wage, but it also commands you in a position where you can be armed and or unarmed. So to have this situation where you have an individual that has been on the force for X amount of years and knows this school like the back of his hand, had been working there since 2009. Let me read to you guys something. Because I thought this was just wow. This guy here. This was just crazy here. So check this out. And a 33 law enforcement veteran at that. How about that? 33-year law enforcement veteran, Scott Peterson. So you rewind it back, and there was this incident that had went down in 2015 where he was boasting about his performance and the work of his colleagues as he sought to persuade school officials to retain a program known as the Resident on Campus Security Program. Check this out. You guys will get a kick out of this. And I quote, "These colleagues work hard," he told one official who raised doubts about the program's value. "We are a crime prevention. An audit report will never show you how much we prevent." Now, in one example, Peterson outlined an incident at Atlantic Technical College in Coconut Creek and described what he did after receiving a call about an alarm in the school's cafeteria. I wish we had some nice music playing here. "And right there, I knew, because I've been at the school for so many years. I knew right when I heard the cafeteria alarm. You know, you get the hairs on the back of your neck going up. I said, that never goes up. I ran into my trailer. I grabbed my firearm and my ID and my shorts and my sneakers, and I ran over to the cafeteria. As I got to the cafeteria, sure enough, there were 4 males inside the cafeteria. They saw me peeking through the glass. They obviously fled. I chased them. I'm getting older, but I started chasing them. I identified who I was, and as ironic as it may seem, they ran right towards my trailer. So they ran past, jumped over the fence. I jumped into my car. I apprehended 2 of them, threw them in the back, kept going, grabbed the other 2. Yeah. He did all that, and yet when it came to this incident, give me this guy that I just read about. Where's this guy? Seriously, where's this guy? Because this guy from 2015, and we fast forward to now, what happened in the span of 3 years there, where this guy just, right? Here's a guy that sounds like he didn't wait for action. He didn't wait for no backup or whatever like that. He just, oh my God, there's trouble. And he went right at it. And now he's trying to defend himself. And give his side of the story. It's not going to end well for this guy. And then you've got the heat that's on the sheriff, the one that basically is overseeing this whole thing. He's now in the limelight as well. Not really looking good for him either. But if you ask me straight up, should that guard have gone into the school? Yes, he should have gone into the school. If you're in a position where the years of training, you have a degree in this, this is your field, this is what you thrive at, this is what you excel at, then this is your moment. This is where, okay, you need to protect the lives of the people that are going into this school. You have a responsibility, and the salary that this guy was commanding, by the way. I mean, he was commanding a fat ass salary. And when it counted the most, you talk about a letdown. Seriously. Now, one could make the argument, well, we don't know what we're really capable of until it's a situation where we're actually going out there and we're in that position ourselves. And to that, I say you make a very good, valid point. But when it's a situation where you are a 33-year veteran and this is what you have been trained in, see, and that's the thing that's not really being hyped up and discussed enough, sadly, is when you work in law enforcement, whether you're doing it as a cop or you're doing it as a security guard, you are trained in so many crisis events. You are trained in so many different scenarios about, okay, here's the situation. You have a shooter that's here in the food court. He's taking a vantage point from up here. Okay, you, the security guards, or you, the guard that's patrolling here, what do you do? You know, you go through that training. It's not just a situation where one day, oh frick, I don't know what to do. No, you already get the proper training. So it's ugly. I would definitely admit it really is ugly, and I think honestly it's only gonna go even further downhill. I would imagine that if this disgraced officer has not done so already, I would imagine that eventually he may end up going into working with the FBI to basically be relocated, go under a different name. It could get really ugly like that. Now, some people may also want to ask me, well, what do I think about what the president had to say? Very harsh, pretty ballsy. I actually agree with what he had to say about this particular guard. Now we're getting the developments about, oh, well, you had police officers that had came to the scene and they did not go in. What the hell? I'm not going to comment on that part. I need to see a little bit more information come out on that before I really even speak on it. But I'll say this and I'll wrap it up. I just find it amazing that once, what I want to know is, when exactly was it established that the gunman was inside? Because if I am led to believe, well, the guard thought that the shooting was happening outside based on the reports that he was getting, what he was hearing. He thought that the gunman was somewhere outside, out in the open, and that's why he took the type of cover that he did. What I'm more curious in knowing is, from the moment that he realized, oh crap, the guy is inside, to when the police officers had came, when was it established that not only was he inside, but that it was also a situation where, okay, now that we know he's inside, here's the map, here are the checkpoints of where we can get in. We may be able to go in this way. We could probably operate. Was there ever any type of a discussion like that? Were there any type of plans made out to actually try to go inside? And just the way things are looking right now, just my 2 cents from a distance until all information is forthcoming, it just looks as though this was a bad crisis that, yes, without a doubt, the crisis should have never happened. But as far as the preparation, the training, so many are at fault. This should not have happened. It's sad that all of these lives are lost. I personally feel a lot more lives could have been saved if there would have been quicker, swifter action. With regards to what are my thoughts, Austie, on the whole Monique Netflix situation, I think it's kind of funny that I am hearing this question, because I actually was talking to a coworker literally Monday, actually, and we talked about Monique not getting the type of money that she wanted from Netflix to do a potential comedy special. She basically wanted that Dave Chappelle money, that Chris Rock money, and what they were trying to offer her. I don't need to spend 10 minutes on this. Honestly, she's been blackballed from the Hollywood business. Some would say maybe she's a bit too outspoken. And as a result of being a little bit too outspoken, she has put herself in a position where she has burned some bridges. And that's unfortunate. A hell of an actress. I honestly thought that when she did Precious, nothing but a skyrocket. Just put it on her and she's going places. But this situation with Netflix, this could have possibly been her olive branch to get back into the good graces of Hollywood once again. And you say to me, oh, well, you're not offering me that Dave Chappelle money. You're not offering me that Chris Rock money. What the hell? I would have looked at it from the standpoint of it's money, but most importantly, it's an opportunity. It's an opportunity for you to present yourself, go in there with that chip on your shoulder, having more of a reason to hit a freaking home run. Oh my God. Monique, Netflix here. I'm some dumb fuck, CEO of Netflix. I gotta tell, man, we're looking at your numbers. We didn't know this was going to be such a smashing hit. We want to sign you up and have you do another comedy special. What do you say? You go back to the table, you then renegotiate, and then guess what? Now the second go around, maybe you can command that Dave Chappelle, Chris Rock money. So that's how I look at it, quite honestly. When an olive branch presents itself, you go there. I look at it no different than maybe a small local radio, a podcaster, broadcaster, or whatever, starting off their show, and they want the big names. I got to do like the dude from Scarface. Okay, big man, you want to make big money, huh? You know, big man, you want big guests, huh? You got to start small. Very rare we have a situation where someone is connected to someone that's connected to another person that's connected to another that, oh my God, I landed Ric Flair on my show, right? Dream on, dream on, dream on, right? Rare. But when you have a situation where you're starting off, okay, you got to build up that portfolio. Here's your olive branch. Don't spit on it. Don't turn a nose to it. Take it, build off of that. That's how you build your portfolio. As far as I'm concerned, this opportunity that presented itself to Monique, I don't care how she's trying to spin it. I thought it was rather hilarious seeing all the people on her personal Facebook page. She even had a good vocal majority of people on her Facebook page that were saying, Monique, honey, boo boo chow, I love you, but come on now. Really? They offered you some good money. You could have easily taken it, do the special, have a success, do more, and get even more money. Like, come on. Do it for the fans. It's an olive branch. It's going to get you back out there eventually. Do it. Even her own fans on her own freaking Facebook page were ridiculing her for that. So, yeah. Let's see what else we got here. Looking at some more comments here in the chat here. I don't think Dean Ambrose will return in time for Mania, but I could be wrong. I could be wrong. Holy crap. Did the Spreaker Studio? Okay, I thought the Spreaker Studio had cut off there. My bad, guys. Looking at some more comments here. What the hell? Why is that topic being brought up? What led up to that topic? Hang on here. Oh yeah, we have somebody that was plugging something going on in CZW. That's funny. Let's see here. Vince McMahon, Roman Reigns is my husband. There's actually somebody in the chat named Vince McMahon. He said Roman Reigns is his husband. That explains that. I love that. That's funny as shit. I love that. Uh, I agree with what Christopher is saying. He says New Japan Wrestling, Ring of Honor Wrestling, and Impact Wrestling, booking wise, is starting to become way better than the WWE. I agree with you in some areas, Chris. I agree with you in some areas. It is coming along. It's kind of like yin and yang. You can catch certain things from WWE that's, and then there's others that's, whatever. Hey, I'm glad I'm still on the air. Another thing I wanted to get into, CM Punk and Stu Bennett. Stu Bennett, as Wade Barrett, they're actually going to be teaming up. They're actually going to be co-hosts of the upcoming season for I think it's called Beastmasters or something like that. It basically, from the little bit that I had saw of it, it comes off like American Ninja, basically. Kind of like American Ninja meets American Gladiators is what I gathered from it. So that is probably at this point, if it's not going to be airing this summer, maybe it's going to be airing right at the beginning of fall. Stay tuned for that. I'm actually going to check that out because it's always nice seeing CM Punk branch out in avenues like this. And honestly, I miss me some Stu Bennett. And I know he's Wade Barrett for me. I'm always remember him as Wade Barrett, but it'd be nice to see how those two guys are doing. And I'm gonna go ahead. I'm gonna say this is a show. Hey, as I'm getting ready to wrap this up, I do want to take this time out and I want to thank the many of you that have been supporting the RCWR show for these past couple of years. But in particular, I definitely want to give a big shout out to you guys that's been checking out all the streams. I don't care how you're checking it out, whether you check out the show live, YouTube, Facebook, Spreaker, or you're checking it out on demand, where honestly, it's the most popular. I was going through the numbers, just adding everything up. And just with 2018 kicking off the way that it's been so far, with how we've been trying to come up with new innovative ways to stream the show for y'all to enjoy, the numbers, I'm saying I'm quite pleased with what I've been seeing. So I believe we're about 10 episodes into the web series experiment of the RCWR show, and I think we're gonna go on ahead, we're gonna extend it some more. So honestly, I'm not gonna fully commit to this web stream being a weekly thing full time, but what I will say to you guys, I'm in this for another 10 more weeks, and we'll see how it plays out. But if you want more like this, just keep representing, keep showing up, checking out the shows, commenting, all that good stuff. And if you give me a follow on Twitter, don't just follow, say something cool. Honestly, if you really want to try to interact with me, I'll give you a little bit of a hint, and I'll leave you with this. My favorite nights to interact with folks is when Raw is on, when SmackDown is on. Sometimes I can be very busy though. It just really depends. And I don't end up seeing everything that comes across my timeline. I don't end up really checking enough the interactions tab like that. But on a Friday night and a Saturday night, you live PD fans, I will definitely go back and forth because that is some hilarious shit. I love me some live PD, better than Cops. I must say, better than Cops. I can't believe that Cops did not think to evolve the show to that capacity. It's like evolution passed them by, and what's going on with them, extremely, extremely outdated. Another good thing, NBA on TNT. A lot of times on a Thursday night, I will actually be watching the games. So if you want to try to get at me and work on some type of, that's really a good way that you can do it. I'm just offering you guys some good tips. That way you don't kind of feel like I'm ignoring you or whatever like that. Shout out to Be Nice. Shout out to Steve and Austie. Who else we got in here? Shout out to Vince McMahon. Shout out to Chris. And who else we got here? Shout out to the trolls that didn't really appreciate the talk of WWE. Shout out to Razor. Am I missing anybody else? Honestly, shout out to everybody that's going to be checking this out live, or rather on demand, I should say. Shout out to everybody that's going to be checking this out on demand. All right. Make sure you give me a thumbs up. Most importantly, if you're watching this on demand, leave the comments, interact, do subscribe, all that good stuff. Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube at the RCWR Show. For our YouTube audience, wishing you guys to be safe, be kind to one another. Your next edition of the RCWR Show is going to be coming at you all live on Tuesday night, March 6, 2018, after SmackDown goes off the air. So YouTube, good night, good morning,